on the scene to deal with it. We also have brought in the local utility companies, the gas company, power company, and such. Maryland Department of Environment is here as well to assist us along with our hazardous materials teams. So as I said, at 2 o'clock the fire continues to burn. That involves these large liquid asphalt tanks. The concern is, or potential concern, or what we're monitoring anyway, is the air quality. We hope that everybody in the surrounding neighborhood would consider this to be like a bad air quality day. So limit your time outdoors, close your windows and that sort of thing. So it's just kind of like maybe a code yellow type of day. Right now the weather conditions are favorable to us as far as the wind is concerned. We have not had any reports of any complaints in surrounding neighborhoods. Again, this is a large complex that stretches between these two large roads, Trevilla Road and Shady Grove Road on Piney Meeting House Road. And there is no fire danger to the surrounding community. Again, our main concern right now is environmental, and we continue to monitor that, but we think things are manageable right now. Again, just consider it to be a bad air quality day, and we continue to watch that. So stay tuned to local officials from emergency management as far as additional information as far as that is concerned.
Pete, any idea how this actually started?
No, we haven't had a chance to get in there and make that determination yet. But there are, in a process like this, there are a lot of moving parts. I believe it is a natural gas fed process. They have a boiler. I believe probably melts the asphalt to its liquid stage, so likely something in that process was engaged in fire. But the exact cause of the fire is not yet determined. We're still containing the fire right now. It's still burning.
And you said 3 liquid asphalt tanks are the ones that are on fire?
Yeah, the best, to my knowledge, there's 3 large tanks. 2 of them are liquid asphalt. One is basically used motor oil. But they are very large tanks, stationary tanks, not tanker trucks, but stationary tanks that are in the close proximity to this large quarry type operation.
And is liquid asphalt flammable? I know obviously the oil is, but...
Yeah, it's a petroleum product or byproduct. So, and from a firefighting perspective, you can't put it out with water. We'd have to use some other extinguishing agent, which we have here, but in water, control and quality is not a real concern right here. This is a very large complex. They have their own water system in place, water sources, ponds and so forth, so we have access to those, and we don't have any runoff that we're concerned with right now. But again, our main concern environmentally is the air.
Now, you just said that the wind is your friend right now, but I'm trying to think environmentally. If it's blowing into neighborhoods, how is that advantageous to people living here?
Well, I'd say it's we're taking advantage of the weather conditions because it's not real windy. The smoke is rising. We're at a high elevation where the fire is located, so it's not, you can see it's kind of going over the closest neighborhoods. So they might smell something, but we don't think it's at a concentration at this point. As far as our monitoring has indicated, it's not at a concentration where it's a health hazard, but just like a bad pollution day, any kind of smoke, limit your time outdoors, maybe close your windows if you're concerned about that. If you have a health hazard, pre-existing condition, just be aware of that to limit your time outdoors essentially.
And this could just keep burning throughout the evening, correct?
Yeah, we believe it's going to be a protracted incident. Right now, that's what our course of action is. It's burning. We have a plan A, B, and C, some contingency plans in place to, right now we're working with the facility management to do our risk assessment on that and go forward for the best course of action. But right now it is still burning. The fire is contained. It's not going anywhere. There's no immediate danger to the surrounding community or surrounding workers or things of that nature. So, we're doing some risk assessment as we speak.
How many people were in the place when this happened?
It's a very large industrial complex. I don't know.
Okay. Was anyone hurt?
No injuries. They obviously have an emergency procedures in place. They were all followed, again, due to the fact that there were no injuries. But a very large complex, a lot of large vehicles. They have, fire protection systems in place here that we are accessing in the source of water essentially. But right now there were no injuries, and we hope that remains to be the case.
Was anyone near the tanks at the time that you know of?
I'm not that familiar with that exactly processing, but there is for lack of a better phrase, there were some buildings, mini factory, I guess, conveyor belts. Again, I don't know the exact process, but there, I assume, were people. It's probably largely automated, but there probably are some people involved. But again, there were no injuries.
Was it an explosion, or was it like a slow burn where it just then sparked?
When we got here, it was burning. I had heard no reports of any explosion. We had a report of a tank on fire. Was the initial call.
And when you mention, as far as air quality, I think you had mentioned yellow. Can you kind of explain what that means, or?
Yeah, basically that is not a high level alert. So just a kind of an awareness. Limit your time outdoors. If you have pre-existing conditions, pay special attention to, and typically pollution, smoke affects older people, people with pre-existing conditions, younger children are more susceptible. So just to be mindful of that. But we are monitoring that. Certainly if any of our community has any concern with the smoke or any other thing, we ask them to give us a call 911, and we'll come evaluate the situation then. But right now our Office of Emergency Management is monitoring the air quality, is our main concern for the surrounding community. There is no danger, hazard as far as fire or explosion. That situation is contained.
And if you can clarify the actual firefighting, because I think you said for at least 2, if not all 3, you can't use water, correct? If you can clarify that, and is there a concern that you'll run out of whatever material it is used to fight those fires?
No, we don't have any concerns. We have plenty of resources to deal with the situation at hand. But typically, as in any petroleum, like gasoline fire, you can use water to put out the combustibles that catch on fire as a result of the gasoline, but typically you use foam as the most common product to extinguish a fire involving a petroleum product.
And that's on all 3 that you're using?
Yeah, it's used motor oil and 2 liquid asphalt tanks.
What can you tell us about this company, Wholesome? I believe that's the name of the company. I saw on the sign around the corner. What can you tell us about this company, what they do?
Who? What's the company?
Where the fire is. I looked at the sign there around the corner. It said HOLCIM. I'm assuming that's the name of it.
Yeah, it's a large industrial complex. I'm sure there's some other operations going on there. To my knowledge, it's a FOD Industries. It's an aggregate. It's a quarry operation. They probably have a number of other companies that are part of that process. I'm not familiar with that one.
Pete, how unusual is this, and do you guys train to handle this?
Yeah, well, our main concern with any kind of fire or hazardous condition is, property or life safety is our main concern, number one, and property damage. So none of that is really a concern right now. The fire is contained. It's in an area that it's not going anywhere. It's a big fire. Obviously, it's burning, but it's contained as far as we're concerned. So we have a couple different. When I came down here to meet you guys, they were discussing some of the possibilities, doing that risk assessment. What is the best way going forward? Again, we have assistance of not only our hazmat team, but Maryland Department of Environment. Obviously, there's environmental issues to be aware of. So all that's being considered right now. But there is no immediate danger right now. All the workers have been evacuated from the immediate area, which weren't very many. It's a very large complex, so there's nothing nearby that's going to burn or explode as a result. Our main concern is environmental with the smoke in the surrounding communities, but that doesn't seem to be a high-level concern right now based on the air monitoring that we've done.
And timeline, it's hard to say, but can we expect to see smoke the next several hours?
I would say so, yes. It's will likely be a protracted incident. Again, we're still doing that risk assessment. So if we are able to extinguish the fire, maybe not so long. But even if that was the case, it would take a while for us to get set up. So even in that case, it would be a couple hours. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. No,
Thank you.
what time did it start again?
So 11:45 about.
That was the time when the first fireman came here.
Yeah. So it's 2:15. I'll see how it goes, but an hour or so I'll try to give you another update.
Thanks, Pete.
if you're-
Okay,
if you're
great.
still around.
And will that, if we're driving around, will that be back here or will that be on Twitter or? You don't know. Okay. Will you just send an email or should
Well, this
we
is a
be
good
in
safe
touch with you?
place. So
Okay.
this will be